Hey there, I just want to talk about what got me started writing. This isn't one of those stories when I say I've been writing since I was a 2-year-old or 3-year-old or whatever. Not that those stories are bad. I think it's amazing when people say they've been writing their whole lives. Most of my life, I was way too scared to even consider writing something down. I've always been an avid reader. I fell in love with reading when I was a young kid. I always read at a higher reading level than my age, and I would always max out my library card whenever I went to the library. And as I said, I always wanted to write a book, but I was always too scared to. Never felt like I was eloquent with my words, didn't feel like I had a very big vocabulary. So I just assumed that I would never actually sit down and write a book. When I was 28 years old, working at my first tech job outside of college, I had a colleague who had told me she had been working on a book for the past 6 years. I remember being so impressed that she actually buckled down and wrote a book, that there was actually someone who had written something down. I remember telling her that I didn't think I would ever write anything, and she looked at me and said, well, why not? All you need to do is sit down and write something, the first thing that comes to mind. I reflected on that for a minute and said, why not? It's probably going to turn out really bad anyway. So I did. I set a timer for 30 minutes one day, sat down and wrote this wild story about an assassin who ends up getting roped into a really dicey situation. Well, to my surprise, that turned into a full-fledged epic fantasy trilogy with a prequel story, and I haven't been able to stop writing ever since that day. So if you're one of those people who wants to write a book, you've always had that desire to write a book, but you don't know how to start, don't overthink it. There's a lot of books and people out there that will tell you how to go about writing a book. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to actually do it that way. Try your hand at it. Open a document, get out a pen and a piece of paper, do something, get started, and you would be shocked what can flow out of your mind when you actually just start writing something down. More than likely, you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what you have to write in the story that your mind has to create. So get out there and start writing.